jurors did not find any criminal conduct of Sergeant Greg Capers during the May 20th incident where 11-year-old Aderrien Murray was shot in the chest when the officer responded to a domestic dispute between the child's mother and her ex-boyfriend. The family attorney, Carlos Moore, is here to explain why the body cam video isn't being released and the grand jury's decision not to indict the officer. Attorney Moore, thanks for joining us again on Roland Martin Unfiltered. I remember before when you were on covering this case, and I remember being on Roland's show discussing this. Can you give us some insight into why the jury decided not to indict the officer for, well first, how was Aderrien doing? One. Two, give us some insight into why the jury decided not to indict the officer.
Aderrien is doing somewhat better. He continues to get counseling on a weekly basis, but physically he has recovered pretty much, and he is happy to be back in school with his classmates, and he's looking forward to enjoying the holidays with his family because he knows that he could have met his maker in May when this man, Greg Capers, shot him recklessly.
Yes.
So the family was disappointed. The mother was almost inconsolable yesterday when she found out that the grand jury had returned a no true bill. I had to explain to her that there are two different standards in the criminal arena versus the civil arena, which I'm handling. In the criminal arena, the prosecutor had to show that this man intentionally shot Aderrien. I believe he was reckless, but I do not believe he intended to shoot the child. I believe he intended to shoot an adult. How he got confused, I would never know. He was supposed to be a trained law enforcement officer, but I believe the grand jury decided that they thought he made a mistake versus intentionally shot this boy.
Now, in my recounting of this incident, so this was a domestic dispute from my understanding. And if I remember when we talked about this case before a few months ago, the people inside of the home, were they ordered to come out and march out of the home? And then when Aderrien came out, that's when he was shot. Is that what happened?
Yes, he was ordered to come out with his hands up, and that's exactly what he did. And the officer shot him. I mean, as soon as he turned that corner, the officer shot the young boy, and the boy's hands were up, just as he said. There was nothing in his hands that could have been confused as a gun, nothing whatsoever. His hands were up. So we do not know how this officer made this drastic mistake. We believe he shot first, and then he looked and realized who he shot.
Okay, now, did the officer testify or enter any statements into why he shot Aderrien?
Grand jury proceedings are private, so I was not privy to what went on in the grand jury. So I don't know if they called the officer live, if they showed the video, or what they showed to the grand jurors. All we know is that whatever that was showed was not sufficient enough for them to decide that there was probable cause that he committed the crime of aggravated assault. Interestingly enough, had my client died, I do believe he would have been indicted for culpable negligence manslaughter. But since my client lived, there's a loophole, and there is really no other crime besides aggravated assault for which he could have been charged. And aggravated assault requires intent to shoot.
Right. Okay. Grand jury hearing. Okay. So now also at issue is that the body cam footage has not been released publicly. And Aderrien's mother wants the body cam footage released publicly. So what is the delay in getting that body camera footage released?
The city of Indianola has asked the federal court to seal the video from public display. They say that the video is too graphic. It identifies a minor, and they don't think it should be released. Ms. Murray, my client, has asked for it to be released. She's seen it, I've seen it, and we believe that the public deserves a right to see for itself what this officer did to this young boy and decide if it was justified or not.
Right, and I'm going to go to my panel here in just a minute, but in the case when you have video of a minor being shot, can't they blur out the minor's face? I mean, isn't that something that can be done to hide the identity, if they want to hide the identity of the minor? But at the same time, in reports, we know his name. We've seen his face in interviews. So does that make any sense where they're saying, well, it's a minor involved?
It makes no sense at all. People across the country and around the world already know his name. He's been on CNN and Good Morning America. So people have seen him and they know his name, and the family is not objecting. His mother, who is his guardian, has not objected to his picture or face being identified. She's even said that if it had to be blurred, she's fine with that to protect his identity. But the city, for whatever reason, does not want this video released. Had my client shot the officer, I would believe the city would want to release. So I don't see any difference here. We believe that the video should be released. We are appealing the magistrate judge's opinion to the district court judge, Deborah Brown. She was appointed by President Obama during the Obama years, and we are appealing the magistrate judge's opinion to the district court judge.
Okay. I want to go to my panel on this, and I want to start with Attorney Jesse Hamilton McCoy. Do you have a question for Attorney Carlos Moore, Attorney McCoy?
Yes. Well, I'm just curious kind of about the history of policing in this city. Is this something that you have seen often by way of them not revealing the video footage?
No, I'm quite surprised that they came up with this. I was not expecting them to try to say that they cared more about my client's child than she does. I mean, she's the mother. If they were trying to do what's in the best interest of my client, they would not have the officer shoot. They would not have had an officer that's scared as born and fight of his own shadow and shot my client recklessly. So that would have been in the best interest to keep him from being shot. But now they're saying they want to protect my client from the release, and we're not asking for that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Attorney McCoy. I want to go to Dr. Avis Jones DeWeaver. Dr. DeWeaver, did you have a question for Attorney Moore?
Yeah, Attorney Moore, I mean, you know they lying, right? I mean, clearly that's not the reason that they don't want to release that video footage. They know that it implicates this behavior as being minimally negligent. Worst case scenario, completely evil, shooting a child. And so my question to you is, what's the next step? Is there going to be any civil action taken?
Yes, we filed a federal civil lawsuit at the end of May. That lawsuit is still proceeding, and we will file a state court complaint for the reckless actions of Greg Capers next month in January. So there will be two lawsuits, one in state court and one in federal court that will proceed simultaneously. And we expect to get justice for this family, and they would never be able to explain to any judge or jury how this cop could shoot an unarmed 11-year-old boy who looks like the kid that he is. He does not appear to be a man in no shape, form, or fashion.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Avis Jones DeWeaver. Attorney Moore, just a couple of quick questions here. Oftentimes when we see police shootings, even egregious police shootings where we assume that there was recklessness involved, the police unions often come out and defend the police officers. In this case of Officer Greg Capers, has any police union come out to defend his actions?
No, we have not heard from any police union that has defended him. The only person that I've heard defend him is his lawyer, and he says that it was not intentional. But that you don't get a free pass because it was not intentional. This boy came within an inch of losing his life. He was shot in the chest, collapsed lung, fractured ribs, lacerated liver. This boy deserves better, and the city needs to pay for what this officer did.
Absolutely. And lastly, how is how is Aderrien's mother, Nakala Murry, doing?
She is doing better now. Yesterday was very hard for her. When I spoke with her, I could barely hear what she was saying. She was inconsolable and just crying, could not believe that a jury of her peers, grand jurors in that same county that she lived, would let this man get away with what she believed and will always believe was aggravated assault.
Absolutely. Well, look, Attorney Carlos Moore, thanks for coming back to Roland Martin Unfiltered to update us on what's going on. And we hope you're also successful in any civil litigation, civil action in this case as well. OK.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you, sir. Roland Martin Unfiltered will be right back after this break. You're watching the Black Star Network. Hotep, everybody. This is Michael Imhotep from the African History Network. Our Black Empowerment Friday weekend sale is on right now. We have a fantastic promotion for you. Get our bundle pack of 2 online history courses that I teach, as well as my 15 lecture downloadable bundle, African History Awakens the African Mind from Mental Death. These are both from me, Michael Imhotep. They're on sale right now for only $100. That's 76% off. My first online history class is Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Kemet is one of the original names for Egypt. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles. There's about 100 articles that we cover in the class, over 200 slides that I put together as well. And there are also video clips, including excerpts of interviews I've done with some of our historians and scholars, as well as Renuka Rashidi, Professor James Small, Anthony Browder, Professor Kabahaya Wafa Kamene, and Dr. David Imhotep. In the second class that I teach, it's called Black Resistance Movements from the Haitian Revolution, the U.S. Civil War, Civil Rights Movement, and Black Power Movement, 1800 to 1968. And we dig in deep and look at history chronologically from 1800 to 1968 and look at what leads to the Civil War taking place. We study the Jim Crow era, the Reconstruction era, 1865 to 1877, World War I, World War II, Civil Rights Movement, Black Power Movement, and the Great Migration, 1915 and 1970, to understand what happened to us after slavery ended, what were the laws and policies put in place to put us where we are today, to understand where we need to go from here. I created both of these classes, created the curriculum, chose the content as well. This sale ends Sunday, December 17th, 2023. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You'll see the promotion at the top of the page. As soon as you register, you can start watching the content. You can join us for our next online class live Saturday, December 2nd, 2023, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can watch all of these classes on demand, and even after the course is over with, you don't lose access. Register right now, order right now. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. This sale ends Sunday, December 17th, 2023. Also, if you'd like to stop it for information, you can support the African History Network, $, the AHN show through Cash App, $, the AHN show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. This helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting, pay some of the bills. All right, we have to get out of here. Remember, right now, it's correct wrong behavior is not over till we win. Wakanda forever.